All right, we're going to call the meeting to order tonight. Welcome to the August 2024 business meeting of the Ritenour Board of Education. And with that, I'm going to declare that we have a quorum and then look for any motions that will be made at this point.
I'd like to make a motion to excuse Rocky and Vanessa and Marcus. Second.
We have a motion and a second. We'll call the vote. Dr. Alvin?
Yes.
Mr. Gard?
Yes.
Ms. Lonis?
Yes.
Ms. Clover Jones?
Yes.
And I'll vote yes. Next thing up is the adoption of the agenda.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Ms. Clover Jones?
Yes.
Ms. Lonis?
Yes.
Mr. Gard?
Yes.
Dr. Alvin?
Yes.
I shall vote yes. We now have an agenda. Next up is our Pledge of Allegiance, and I have asked our Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Chris Kilbride, if he would lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, sir. 1.5 is report of closed session. It is my duty to report to the public that the Board of Education met in closed session on July 11th and 24th of this year for a discussion of personnel and real estate agenda items. 1.6 is public comments. Is there anyone here that would like to say something to the board, bring something to the board? Last chance. Okay, moving on then to our reports. The President report is the first thing up. And it is my pleasure to report to everyone, everybody out here knows this of course, on Monday, August 19th, what happened? First day of school, right? Our new school year. I can't wait, that's easy for me to say. I can't wait to bring all the students back and welcome them to the first day of school. And that'll be the start of our 2024-2025 school year. I hope everybody's ready because it's going to be the greatest year yet. Next thing we have is we have some important dates and information to share with everybody, so write this down. Our annual Black and Orange Day celebration is back, and Back to School Bash takes place from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Saturday, August 24th at Ritenour High School. So right up here, right up there in front of the school. After Black and Orange Day, we are hosting our first ever Ritenour Legislative Advocacy Committee Political Advocacy Training. It's a lot. For school leaders and board members in the North County area, and that will be from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. in the Ritenour Auditorium. For any information, please see Lisa or Vanessa. They'll be leading this. And if you're interested in attending, please RSVP to the Quinta Woods. Hope to see many people there. If you know people from other school districts that you want to invite, please do so. And it'll be very informative, very helpful for their own school district and for the North County area. Our annual Hall of Fame induction ceremony will take place at 6 p.m. on Friday, September 20th. We will be inducting two amazing alumni. One I went to school with, and the other one is a Lifetime Achievement Award recipient, and she was my first social studies teacher up here when she first started. So, awesome people. Really are. I look forward to seeing them there at that event. On Saturday, September 21, we will celebrate homecoming weekend with a parade at 9 a.m., followed by the football game against Pattonville High School. Dr. Green, what do you think? All right, that's what I like to hear. There'll be we will watch Pattonville be defeated at Moorfield starting at 1 p.m. Last thing I have, and I was reminded about this from Dr. Alvin over here, is a community event. The Lions Club Fair, which is at Norman Myers Park, brings the community together, brings all different kinds of organizations there. Will be August 22nd, 23rd, 24th, and 25th. Everybody's welcome. There's great people coming up there. You have a good time, wonderful food, drinks, and there'll probably be 14, 15 different rides for the kids, everybody to ride on. And with that ends my report. I turn to the Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Chris Gilbert.
Thank you, Dr. Thomas. Board members, tonight I'd like to recognize the Human Resources Department. As we start this academic year, the 157th year of educating students in our Ritenour community. Although it's 157 years at Ritenour, education of children in this community goes back to 1846, where there was the Buck School as well as the temporary school for African American students. In 1867, those two schools merged and the Ritenour School District was formed. So actually goes beyond 157 years. I'm excited to share that we're fully staffed with teaching positions. And so this is no small feat. And board members, actually, this was only possible because of an update and edit to your personnel report, which was made, I believe, this morning. We had a teacher that has resigned her position, which you'll find on the personnel report. The HR department was able to replace that person, which was why the person was released from their contract. So to be fully staffed with educators in the district is no small feat. Would not have been possible without the exceptional efforts of Dr. LaChance, Charles Love, Wendy Jackson, Jamie Sims, the entire Human Resources Department. Dr. LaChance, Charles Love, the HR team worked hard in the recruitment process, selecting the best candidates and ensuring that the district maintains a strong and committed staff. Board members, today was with our new teachers at Marion. Ms. Gilliam is leading the new employee orientation program. There really is a great energy in the space this morning, and it's a commitment to the HR team as well as Evelyn and the CNI team, as well as Ms. Hahn and everybody that's involved in new employee orientation. We're not only finding the right people, but training the right people up to make sure they can make a difference with their kids. So as we start this school year, the 157th year as written, I personally extend my heartfelt gratitude to the HR department. Thanks to Mike, thanks to Charles, thanks to Wendy, thanks to Jamie, thanks to all of you for your hard work in making sure that we're fully staffed. I ask that we give them a round of applause. And that concludes my report.
Thank you very much. The next report is the NSBA report, and I would usually want to turn to Vanessa, but she's not here, so I turn to Ms. Glover Jones.
Very much. Just want to remind everybody of the upcoming events that we have in September. The Region 7 meeting is in September. And then we also, Linda has been working so hard to make sure that we know about all of the conferences that are coming up. So check your emails, check your dates, and let me know what your travel arrangements are. We plan on attending the MSBA conference in October and the Q conference in October, as well as there is a finance seminar that's coming up at the end of August. And now we will play our video.
Welcome to the August edition of the Missouri School Boards Association's Board Report. We begin by looking forward to the start of a new school year in Missouri. Our public schools will start the new year this month with great anticipation, but in an environment that continues to be challenging. One of these challenges is the growing influence of artificial intelligence in education. AI technology is rapidly transforming the way students learn, teachers instruct, and schools operate. To help with understanding these issues, MSBA has launched the AI Toolkit for K-12 education. Mark Henderson, MSBA's Director of Digital Initiatives, created the toolkit and explains its intent.
This is a 60-plus page guide, comprehensive guide to all things regarding AI in the educational world. We have sections about understanding AI, very intro basics for anyone who doesn't know much about it. We have a section on safety, section on ethics. We have a section on policy for districts. We have all kinds of tools in there and resources. We try to keep it updated constantly with new information, weed out the old stuff. So this is an active living document that you can go to and reference constantly.
In addition to the toolkit, MSBA is holding an AI and Education Symposium Thursday, October 17th in Kansas City. Mark says the event has something for everyone, regardless of your AI expertise or experience level.
Education is going to be impacted in huge ways by AI. It already is in so many different ways. So we don't have time to waste before we dive into this. Districts need to take it seriously now. They need to look into it. They need to set policies in place, have discussions on what they're going to allow and not allow. On Thursday, October 17th, the day before annual conference kicks off, we're going to have an AI and Education Symposium. And this is all about diving into those important topics regarding AI. And it's open to superintendents, board members, IT professionals, librarians, teachers. We're going to have topics that address all the important things that these folks need to know. And we're going to have keynote speakers brought in. We're going to have concurrent sessions so you can really focus on the topics that you want to talk about. And then that important Q&A time at the end so that you'll be able to decide how this impacts your district and help sort of develop plans and questions to customize it to your needs.
In addition to the AI and Education Symposium, registration is now open for the 2024 MSBA Annual Conference in cooperation with the Missouri Association of School Administrators and the Missouri Association of School Business Officials, to be held October 17th through the 19th in Kansas City. The event will once again feature numerous breakout sessions and workshops, many presented by school leaders from districts throughout the state, the Education Expo, and another great lineup of general session speakers. And nominations for the Carter D. Ward Excellence in Advocacy Award are being accepted now through September 6th. The award is presented to a local board member who excels at advocating for public education. Visit the MSBA website for more information. Lastly, on July 17th, Mike Reed, the esteemed leader of MSBA's Advocacy Department, passed away, leaving behind a remarkable legacy of dedication and service to public education and the children of Missouri. Mike Reed was a towering figure in the realm of education advocacy, known at the Capitol and throughout the state for his relentless work on behalf of public school children. In addition to his tireless advocacy for public schools, Mike wholeheartedly believed in the power of school board members and was constantly appreciative of their service, advocacy, and leadership.
You are our best advocates that we have. And I appreciate all of the hard work that our members do in letting representatives know how their actions in Jefferson City affect the students. Children are the backbone of this country, and if we're going to grow, we have to do what's best for kids in the state of Missouri. The most important and the best lobbying effects that we have are our members who are elected officials talking to members of the General Assembly who are also elected officials. We represent boards, and who do boards represent? Boards represent the taxpayers and making sure that the children of the state of Missouri get a proper education. You are the stewards of the taxpayers' money and also the stewards of their children's education, to which we appreciate.
Mike Green, thanks for being with us and thanks for all your good work and lobbying on behalf of public education down in Jefferson.
It's fun because, in the end, we work for the kids and we work for a very good group of elected officials, and it's enjoyable.
Just to also follow up, as Dr. Thomas has shared, August 24th for Political Advocacy Day. So if anyone is able to attend that from 1 to 4, that training will also be hosted, conducted by the Missouri Foundation for Health. Some of their individuals will be coming in to share that. If you know anybody that's interested in attending, please share that message as well.
Thank you very much. Now, for our last report, we turn to our student representative. Thank you for speaking. Moving on. Business items 3.1. Work-based learning.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
So tonight I am joined by Adriana Toledo, who is the work-based learning coordinator here at the high school, and also with Dana Dunn with Amarillo. Together we have partnered to develop what we believe is going to be a terrific program for students and get them started on career paths. This is all from the support and sponsorship of Amarillo. The reason for that is because there were discussions in board meetings about, we hire contractors, and we do pay lots of money, but what do they do back for students? And so at a board meeting in the spring, we picked around some ideas, you picked around some ideas. This has evolved into a program that we believe is going to impact many, many students. I'm excited to share that information with you tonight. Adriana. So, of course, our vision and our mission is supported because we believe that this program will help develop students develop the knowledge and skills necessary for success in our diverse global society. And for equity, our resources are allocated so every student gets what they need. And what students need are opportunities to prepare them for enlistment and more. So the Path to Trade program, or P2T, that name was developed by Adriana, and we just loved it. So that's one of the things we were talking about every single meeting we had over the summer. What are we going to call it? What are we going to call it? And then she said that, and it's just like, absolutely, that is the name of the program. So it's Path to Trade. And it's a proposed 2-year program that will start this October. And the goal is to expose the students to various trades and provide mentorship to those students. It's going to be a 2-year program, and we're going to start the freshman year. And I'll explain in a little bit why we chose to start this program with the freshman. And then every year, 10 more freshman students will be added to the rotation to participate in that 2-year program. The program will introduce our students to the construction agency industry through multiple trade partners who are called P2T mentors, and we'll go through a list of mentors that we've already nailed down and others that we're working on. And of course, Amarillo being a P2T mentor from the start, and their support and sponsorship is greatly appreciated. Students in the program will experience the multiple career paths in the construction agency during their freshman and sophomore years. We're going to start with a lunch and learn session with all of the mentors that have confirmed that they will be here. We're going to do that in October, and all students are invited to attend that. This will be an introduction to the program to all of those students. From that group of students, we're going to determine who is most interested. Adriana is going to work with counselors from the middle school so that we can select 10 students, 10 freshman students to start off the program. And again, it's 8 quarters long, 2-year cycle, and the students are going to visit or go on site to the various trades each quarter, totaling those 8 sessions. So they're actually going to go, to the different union halls and sites where they're training workers in the trade, and be able to see that. So here's a list of our confirmed mentors, and I'd like Dana to explain a little, and then Adriana is also going to explain a little bit about our mentors.
Thank you and good evening. It's interesting because when Mike just went through this, I just kind of how many meetings we all had to kind of get to where we started to get to this point. So congratulations, really. Worked hard. So Amoresco is a mentor and a sponsor for this program, and we have got, like, for example, IBEW Local 1 is also going to be a mentor, and Sheet Metal Workers Local 36 is going to be confirmed mentors. Yeah. And I'll let you talk about CMT here in a second, but I will bring up the, like, for example, Impact Consulting is going to be a mentor. They're an MBE, they're a minority owned business enterprise, and that's very important as well, that we bring these particular trades into this program so that the students can experience this. And we've got a number of them that are kind of lined up, we think, getting ready to go here in year number 2, which is really exciting. CMT.
Sure, so I had the pleasure of meeting Corey Elliott. Corey Elliott is the owner of CMT Roofing. She actually agreed to address our students. It was about 2 years ago during an advisory informational session. And she spoke with a lot of passion. She's really excited to tell our students about the roofing industry. And also, it's not only a women-owned business enterprise, it's a minority-owned business enterprise. And so her company is dedicated to employing a diverse workforce. And so I'm really excited to invite her and have her come and speak to our students in early October when we kick off this program.
So here's a list of other potential mentors that we are working with.
So I'm really excited that North Tech is on board because ideally students who complete the 2 years of this program will attend North Tech their junior and senior year. So we decided that in that first rotation of site visits, we are going to include North Tech. So they've already agreed on our college and career readiness day, CCR day, at Ritenour High School. It's October 12th, and North Tech is going to host our 10 freshmen who are selected for this program, and they're going to give them a tour of the campus and answer questions, and we've really discussed it's important for these students to be hearing from not only their teachers and their counselors, but from North Tech what is necessary for them to be successful. Students at North Tech, and then potential employees for some of these companies locally that will hire them to participate in the construction. Also, Alvarisi, I had the pleasure of meeting with their executive director and director of diversity. This was with actually Evelyn last May. It might have been the end of April, but we talked to them about some other initiatives, and because they're in our backyard, they're right here, they're a local company that is well known, and they're going to have a lot of great information for our students as well, and then also potentially be an employer for some of these kids down the line.
So again, I told you about freshman and sophomore students, and so targeting the 9th and 10th graders is important because high math scores are a determining factor for employment selection. Very, very important. So as we talked with the different unions, for instance, Sheet Metal Workers Union, they received last year 300 applications, and they hired 60 something of those applicants, which is really a high number of hires. But to go through that, what they have to do is have a ranking system. And so math scores, they actually get the students' transcripts, and math scores actually move them up on the list. And so when they have those higher math scores, they get a point that moves them up this impact. And like Adriana said, it's likely that many of the students will attend North Tech after they experience this program. We're hoping that they do. That it's something, shines a light on, man, I'm really interested in this trade. And therefore, they're going to have a more clear idea of what they want to do at North Tech if they choose to go there. And so hopefully they go there 11th and 12th grade. And then, so of course, after completing the program, students will know the requirements then of all of those trades and possibly know what career they go into through North Tech. Also, what is important is that the students are going to receive a certificate of completion from the Path to Trades program, and that will be signed by all of the trades mentors. When we spoke with the different unions, they said that students who went through that program, they would be willing to give them another point in that system of ranking of applicants. We will also offer OSHA 30 certification. Now, students who go to, and that's going to be funded through Amoresco, students who go through North Tech earn OSHA 10 for North Tech. However, students in this program are going to earn OSHA 30 certification. And what that means on that scale of applicants, if you have OSHA 10, that's one more point on that scale. If you have OSHA 30, it's 3 more points on that scale. So students could potentially bump up to 4 points by going through this program, paying attention to their math, because once they get to be a a junior, and they say, oh my gosh, I need to pay attention to my math classes, it might be too late. And so we want them to really focus on those math scores freshman and sophomore year so that they can really be setting themselves up for success after graduation. And we're happy to answer questions.
In terms of math scores, is it college algebra and geometry that you're looking at
That's
primarily?
exactly what it is, yes.
I know, Ms. Boder, if you're part of this, I know it's going to succeed. This is going to blow up in a little while. This trades path is awesome. We at Rankin are seeing people come in there. They're still signing up for the trades. Our electrical department has a record-breaking amount. We got over 125 new students signed up for fall, which is unheard of. This is needed. There are a lot of jobs out there that are needed to be filled. Our plumbing department has over 100 students, and it's going crazy because you can earn. There's students starting out at $32, $34 an hour without a minute of experience. We have students that are a year out that are making 6 figures out. That's, to me, that's success. So if we can be part of all that. We got some impressive unions up there. They usually don't step out of their lane, we'll say, and do anything. They wait for people to come down. I know with IBW Local 1, we have a partner with the Hazelwood School District.
We actually met with him.
Awesome guy. I mean, just a wonderful guy to work with. I know you love that. And this is going to be just a wonderful program for our students.
I appreciate the intentional effort to create a pathway for our students to the trades and then the collaborative efforts in the space. I did have a couple of questions around the criteria. So just looking at math based off of the recommendation from our middle school counselors, what are some of the factors that go into that criteria for those 10 questions?
Well, our middle schoolers should be working on an iPad. So they should come to the high school with some idea of whether they want to enlist, enroll, or become an So I'm hoping to get some insight from middle school counselors about students who are specifically looking at employment. And it's great to have students who have, relatives, a father, an uncle, any relative in the industry, but hopefully we turn some students who just have a passion for working with their hands and are serious about their grades and finding a pathway right after high school. But as far as criteria, we're gonna open this for our lunch and learn to students who are interested, and then I'll revisit with the middle school counselors. And since it's October, I'll be able to talk to some of the counselors we have here about which students would best fit the criteria for this program.
As we met with the unions, they, one of the things that they talked about was the employees being attendance was a big deal. So I can see attendance being, a factor. If somebody's having a hard time going to school, if you have another student that, has better attendance, a student who's more likely to be there, participate, be serious about the program, would be a more
This may be more of a lead question because in the weeds question, but thinking about this for students, I'm prioritizing and you're giving me access to maybe a topic or an area that I have no idea about. You have to be very intentional around marketing with that as far as like the time. What else is competing against that? Like if I'm an athlete, maybe I want to participate in some of this, but the meetings are always the times when that's when my practices are, or lunch. I don't know how all of it. That's a lead question. Also, future state, as we're talking about, I get to the 11th grade, I don't want to go to full time. What are my options? Nothing to be answered now, but just things to think about.
Yeah. We do have field trip requests times that we can provide transportation within the school day. And so these visits to the trades locations, those on-site visits will happen during the school day. So they shouldn't affect their school activities. To answer that question.
Good questions. There's a lot of things up there that draw people's attention.
Board members, I was at Clayco today in a meeting at 11 with Tom Seahouse and a number of members of the team. Told them about this presentation that was coming to the board tonight, and they're interested in having a conversation as well. To follow up on the conversation with Clayco, I think they're an asset through CCDI, certainly, but I think also Clayco as an organization, I definitely want to serve as a partner to serve as one of those mentors they want here. So I'll make that connection.
Anything else? Awesome.
Thank you all.
Wonderful program. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure working with you guys.
Absolutely. We're going to keep working.
Yeah. Sure.
Oh, they're not going anywhere. Wonderful team. Thank you all.
Thanks, Dave.
It's been a pleasure. Dana, thank you so much. All right, since Mike is still standing there, we'll turn to our construction update.
So of course, our facilities help to reach the mission and vision. And we know that resources are allocated, so every student gets what they need. And as far as our facilities go, students need safe facilities to ensure a great educational experience. The facilities should provide the best physical environment for learning to occur. And all district schools should provide consistent and equitable learning. Last week I presented the 2024-2025 plan projects. I'd like to briefly go over them again. So tuck pointing is a factor in order to keep our foundation sturdy. So we developed a 10-year tuck pointing plan. focus on the priority checkpointing and hope that the timeline can be sped up on some of that if additional funds become available.
Why don't you here to see that tough point plan through to the end of the,
Yeah.
okay.
Entry canopies, this is one of the very few Progress projects that are still have not occurred, but they are in planning. And so those plans are nearly complete. I have some visuals of what these could look like. This isn't a definite of what they look like, but some ideas about what we're thinking as far as entry. We need asphalt, repair, sealing, and striping at the Administrative Center and Ritenour High School. Carpet replacement at Ritenour Middle School. If you've been in some of those classrooms, you can see that a lot of those carpets are just worn. I believe carpet shouldn't be in the classroom, so we're going to replace that with tile. We'll probably need 2 summers to complete that because there will be some asbestos abatement, and we'll have to see how that goes. And of course, we're going to have roofing projects to complete as we move forward. The pool drain needs to be installed. We need to install a drain in the pool. Cafeteria painting is part of Progress. That would be the final Progress project. Then we will fulfill our promises.
That'll be just
Upgrade that one. Of course, we'll have HVAC projects to move forward on, and then every year I have an abatement, asbestos abatement plan to keep moving forward with ridding every building of asbestos over time.
So, board members, we started this process around planned projects last year. If you remember, it's our intent each August to come to you so the board can see what's on deck in terms of planned projects for the year, because we want to be able to follow through with those projects that we tee up and also make space for the emergencies that come up. Also, the idea of we hear time to time over the course of the year, things that right now are wants, and we have to be able to say no to wants and work in a purposeful way by outlining over the course of the year, these are the needs that we have at this point, so that we can clear space for needs and then immediate emergencies that pop up. When we're talking about wants, we'll be working to engage you in a conversation about the long-term facilities plan. That's where we can bring people to the table to talk about what are those wants for the future. So there is a recommendation here. Board members, clearly there are, there'll be costs that are associated with these projects which you don't have right now. We're just asking for your approval that the board supports at this point with the information that you have. These are the planned projects for the year. Certainly, we'll come back to you with specifics around costs and so on when we're ready for the project.
No further questions. I'd like to make a motion to approve the list of planned construction and proposed projects as presented. Second.
motion and a second. Are there any other questions on this piece? Hearing none, let's vote. Ms. Jones? Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Dr. Allen?
Yes.
Mr. Gardner?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you all.
Thank you very much, Mike. 3.3 in our agenda of business items is the alternative method of instruction, or AMI plan approval, and Dr. Denise Stewart will bring that to our attention. Good evening.
So last week I presented the alternative methods of instruction, the proposed plan for Ritenour, and I'm coming back to present it again. So, of course, providing quality instruction to our students and supporting our teachers and our parents and our students. with instruction during alternative methods of instruction time is important, and it aligns with our vision, mission, and equity statement. And again, what is AMI? It's 36 hours of instruction that the state provides to school districts. If there's a learning plan for our students for short-term closures, emergency situations, gas leaks, severe weather, contagious disease, and it's approved by our state on a yearly basis. And it has to include a communication plan that provides parents with the purpose and expectations for work completion and clear expectations of lessons and materials that are needed, how feedback is given, and ensuring that all students have equitable access in order to complete those assignments. So we provide them with hotspots, we have them available for parents and students as needed. And then also we have to ensure that there's communication with our teachers and our students and support our students that have higher needs. So last week we discussed this schedule for AMI for our early childhood, elementary, middle, and high school, based on the feedback from the survey that our families are saying that too much time online and on Zoom, so we make sure that we have that in half at least, and then also have an office hour so that teachers can get a hold of students and support them with the completion of work.
If I could jump in here also,
Sure.
board members, there was great conversation last week with some questions that were raised around times, like specifically the timing of Ritenour High School. What if Ritenour High School students have some responsibility for younger siblings, getting them online, or students having to choose, either me or a younger brother or sister or a family member living with me? Do I get them on or do I? There was also a question that was asked around the schedule where there's a gap in the middle for like early childhood, where the second portion, some students may not be able to. Where we're going tonight is we would like your approval of being able to use 36 virtual instruction to substitute 36 hours. We then want to go out and survey around these specific questions that were asked last week, so that we can get a broad cross section. We've got 1,065-ish responses, I think, around these specific timing questions. We want to get that feedback and come back to you around the times in September, because there's some good questions that were raised last week. So tonight, we're just asking for the ability to go virtual for up to 36 hours. We'll come back to you with the details around the times.
Thank you. I think you're right. It was also some questions regarding communication. So I did meet with Doug Ray, and he came up with a communications plan that includes videos for our families, and it includes AMI frequently asked questions, asking our principals to talk about it at staff meetings, and just a really clear communication plan for our students and our families so that everyone's clear on the expectations for everything. So the attendance, like we talked about last week, is really about working. So we need to make sure that we clarify that with our students and our families and our teachers as well. Because we know that there has been a concern with AMI days and work completion and attendance. So we wanted to make sure we improve those areas. And again, our survey results, that survey that was sent out in April and May with 1,025 responses, and you'll see the breakdown in the number of families that responded and our students that responded as well. And our survey results with 57.1% of all of the respondents said that they would prefer all AMI days, and 26.4 said 3 AMI days and 3 snow days, and 16.5 said all snow days. So you can see that most of our survey respondents preferred all AMI days. And some of the reasons why, with the consistency of the end of the school year, some of our families really prefer to have the end of the school year already planned out. And some of the survey findings again was to shorten that amount of time, which we did, especially for kindergarten and elementary students, and incorporate those office hours to support students related to health. And we talked about the low attendance and our communication plan for that. So I am recommending or asking for you to recommend 6 AMI days or learning days for this upcoming school year. Any questions?
I appreciate the intentional effort going back and setting up a communications plan.
Sounds like that we refine our plan and get good, better suggestions and questions. Very good, worthwhile.
It makes me think, I wasn't gonna say this.
Go ahead, go ahead.
It makes me think about what we talked about with, are we sharing with our community the results of the survey, like you gave your feedback, but are we sharing with them what your feedback has contributed to next? So share their initial feedback, and now we get to say the deeper dive. So just how we message that out to them to let them know, like, we heard you, but yes, we still need more information.
Yeah, if the same people get the second survey, like you were talking about, then they all wonder what happened to the first survey and why they.
Yeah, great feedback, great question. I think it's an opportunity to be transparent because I think also like individual perspectives were shared last week at the table. And we could have acted based on those individual perspectives, which are probably pretty valid, based on your experience. But I think the fact that we're stopping, taking the time to go back and say we want more clarification, and then based on, it's kind of like when you form a committee, you need to be prepared to take the recommendation of the committee. I think when you survey people, you need to be prepared to act on what they're saying. And when Lisa was president, she would share this feedback quite often. We survey, and then we may act, but we never tell the public what the results of those surveys are. So I appreciate that feedback. This is another example of a great opportunity.
Another conversation.
Okay.
Another conversation to have with Doug back there.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, and with that, is there any other questions or comments that we need?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the AMI plan for the 2024-2025 school year as presented to the Board of Education. Second?
We have a motion and a second. Is there any other questions or comments? Hearing none, it's all vote. Ms. Bowden Jones.
Yes.
Ms. Lawrence.
Yes.
Mr. Gurley.
Yes.
Dr. Alvin.
Yes.
I'll vote yes. And why? Let's move on to 3.4, which is a competency-based learning plan.
For the team.
You'll bring the team up?
So we presented the CPD plan or the proposal for the plan last week. And we're here to present that plan again, a little quicker this time. So competency-based education really aligns to our mission, vision, and effort statement. Today, we are going to talk about our proficiency scale calendar, where we are with revising some of our skills every day. We are finishing 1, 2, 3 skills a day in our department at least. And then also our standards-based grading visual that we are sharing with our parents to help communicate standards-based grading, and then our Empower Learning Management Plan, and then our Empower Gurus that we have, and we look forward to documenting professional learning for competency-based education, and then of course,
So why competency-based education? Definitely, it's our equity standard and our mission and vision that all students get what they need, and we're exposing students to grade level education and grade level skills. It really empowers students It promotes a lot of student agency and ownership of learning. They're setting goals based on those proficiency scales. And authentic assessments, really increasing our rigor and relevance and making sure that our assessments are hitting those real world experiences so that we can prepare them for life after high school. And definitely the biggest shift is that it's based on student mastery, not on seat time. So kind of getting rid of that current. So proficiency scale updates. Like Dr. Stewart said, proficiency scales are coming in hourly from teachers who had a contract to write scales over the summer. We are definitely going to hit that mark of getting all proficiency scales created by early next week. We're super close. Proficiency scales are shared with all educators in a Google Drive, and then they're uploaded into Empower. And our goal after we create all of these proficiency scales is that the revision of scales moves into the curriculum review and revision process. So that we're not updating scales every single year. That'll be hard for teachers to kind of keep track of, changes and things like that, but probably every 2 to 3 years. And if any of the standards change for DESE. And we have a feedback form that we used last year and we'll continue to use this year so that our educators have an opportunity to provide feedback on those proficiency skills. This is our standards-based grading visual that's available in English, Spanish, and French. We've been pushing this out. We have posters of this in every single classroom. Our new teachers this past week are very familiar with this as well. So we'll see this as a way to support consistency on a common language in our district. It'll be posted. It is posted on the district website, shared at PTO meetings, and shared at our Empower parent meetings as well. And then this is just a quick glimpse of our new learning management system, Empower. The upper left-hand image is the target browser, and each one of those tiles represents a proficiency scale. So every proficiency scale is uploaded into Empower. The bottom left-hand corner is a sample of what a report card is going to look like for standards-based grading. It is very similar to what we do in K-5 already, but now in K-12. And then just a glimpse of that Empower parent app that the trainer parents on.
So our action plan for this year for Empower is full implementation of Empower as our new learning management system, and really transitioning the secondary level from letter grades to 4-point proficiency scale score, but the high school will still receive higher grades on their report card. Continue to train Empower, teachers on Empower, and really focus on our Empower gurus that we have 1 or 2 at each building to help build capacity for that teacher and the teachers at the school, and also provide those parent training sessions. And also we provided a student training modules for students to help them understand Empower as well. So this is our look for document we have used for several years. We also last year had input from our teacher leaders on this look for document so that it's very clear what the expectations are, what competency-based education practices in every classroom. What we need to make sure that we continue to support our teachers, the CNI department, because just the understanding of the standards is difficult sometimes for some of our teachers, so we want to make sure that we support them in that, and then also expand what constitutes evidence and learning for teachers, and support teachers as they devise a system in the rooms that differentiates instruction for their students, and also continue our CBP lab demonstration classrooms. We had several teachers that went to these demonstration classrooms that are at every building just to see it in action this past school year. That was very beneficial.
So this is just kind of a recap of the professional learning that's happening for our teachers. Those core ideas have scales so that teachers know what their target is within that area of learning. Those scales guide the professional learning and build capacity in each core area, and we will offer them again this year so that we can get teachers proficient in all of those areas. For the portrait of the graduate, we talked about these key things that the portrait into practice ideas have been shared with they were shared with the admin and the community last September. We did a needs assessment, and we encouraged the committee encouraged the teachers to share the ideas with their students, but we are still in the beginning phases of how we're going to implement this in the classroom. So we're starting to design structures for that. And we saw this last week, the secondary and elementary version of these posters that we're looking at to see how we might want to use this as a way to track evidence around those deficiencies in each for each student. So as far as the professional learning update, these are the areas of focus for our teachers related to competency-based education and guarantee that every teacher has a common baseline understanding of what we mean by competency-based education and what we expect here in Ritenour. And the next slide shows just where we are so far in tracking that information in Kick-Up, so we know who has done what, who did what last year, and we can let them know if they completed these last year.
So, do you have any questions?
How many scales have you guys developed total? Just, I mean, it's a big number, I just want to know, let everybody know how much work you've all done.
I mean, at this point, probably over 2,000 scales.
You know, so board members, it's about having the scales, which is the structure, and it's the way to unpack the standards so every educator knows with a high level of clarity what the evidence of learning is to be proficient. You know, that has to be partnered with a professional that can connect with and empower kids. You know, so if we can have the structure plus educators that empower kids that can connect at the deep level, you know, we're primed to move pretty significantly in student performance. There were great questions that were asked last week also around parent notification. There is a communication plan that was created a couple months back. I'll put that all in the Friday memo tomorrow, board members, so you can see when the information about Empower. Right now, we're trying to communicate on SIS and Power School. So I'll put the communication plan around Empower and where the information of parents and students will be coming in, and would love feedback after you get the chance to read your plan. Some great questions last week around if I'm a parent right now, where can I get more information about Empower?
If you have, say, a third grade, would the parent then be able to see all these scales as well?
Okay, so they can, when they go into the parent view of Empower, they'll see their students' courses, and then they can see how many scales are for each subject area. So if it's third grade math, they'll see that there's 16 proficiency scales for third grade math, and then they can click on each one and see the criteria. So yes, they can see all the scales.
So they can do a little bit of their own homework and research, looking through everything, so that when they do ask a question, if there is a meeting that they can ask questions, and they can come out and ask more intelligent questions about why they're this.
They'll be able to see all the evidence that the teacher entered to say, here's, like, Johnny is a 3.0 on fractions, but a 2.0 on decimals or something. They'll be able to see what the teacher has entered as evidence of learning for each proficiency scale as well, and what score they received.
Something else this is stating the obvious, this is brand new to our school district, K-12. What's a real good estimation of the learning curve for like a normal everyday classroom to get the kids up and running on that? I mean, the teacher has to explain, all that we did last year is there, and what we're doing now is something totally different. How effective and how long is it going to take to get us to the point where the kids are then coming in and saying, this is what I'm going to do for my education?
So we created as she mentioned, the student launch modules. So every kid's going to get 5 days worth of training at the beginning of the school year in grades 2 through 12. about what are scales, what is competency-based education. Let's log into Empower, look at this from the student view, so they can understand when they log in, they can see what they're responsible for in their learning, what their scores are. So really getting the kids there. I would say, because we started early, putting a lot of those visuals that we showed out there as well. We had a lot of teachers pilot and experiment with it last year. I think a lot of the kids know about this and know it's coming. And I think it's just going slow with them at the beginning and helping them understand the switch. But again, I would say because all Ritenour students in grades K through 5 went through a standards-based experience at the elementary schools, they've been through this, they just may not remember, and now it's like K5, it's K12. So.
I look forward to seeing the results of this.
Absolutely right. I'm looking forward to that.
So I think Aaron, we're glad that you're trying to module.
You get parent sessions for an hour.
Yeah. Great sessions.
But do I have access to that online? So when my child comes and asks me at home about the language, that I would be able to have something to reference.
So we talked about creating videos, helping us to create some videos for parents to put that online. And we can do that too. They have resources where they've already created this for other districts as well. So they're supposed to help create a Q&A and videos too. And we're creating videos, already created one for office professionals and help them. So yes, we're going to create videos, but we had thought about the module, but the videos would be nice.
Yeah, whichever one, I just think about thinking, reflecting back to my kids and their favorite is, well, the teacher said it's like this, and you're like, okay, well, where is the support to go along with that? So
I think it's also all the events that we have coming up when parents are coming to the schools, try to reach them there as well and make sure that
work. I'm just giving you playing devil's advocate here, right?
it'll be interesting.
I think what I'm excited about seeing is the fact that it's going to be an easier transition when you go from 5th grade to 6th grade and then from 8th grade up to the high school because it's continuous from beginning to the end. And I'm very excited to see when we started this process, in theory we talked about the portrait of a graduate. So this is like when we written our vision of the portrait of a graduate. So I'm very excited to see how this kind of all culminates and comes together. So thank you for your hard work. I'm really excited about this.
The board members also the why, just as with the construction approval of the projects for the year, we hope to come to you every August with the CBL update for the year. Just carving out expectations, what's to be accomplished for the year, so that we can reinforce to the district that this is our focus, along with creating trauma-informed spaces. The CBL work is a major district initiative that there's board support for it, and we hope to come back to you every August for your approval for the piece of the work that we're trying to carve out for the year.
And this will be connected to the dashboard, right?
So, yeah, it is connected to the dashboard in the way that we're moving away from map to ongoing through assessment 3 times throughout the course of the year. But unfortunately, the dashboard, so there's not like a learning progression on the dashboard. So it's all under the same umbrella. It's under the CBE umbrella. The dashboard is more about reporting results that are gained as a result of creating a competency system.
That's what I'm saying. All types of things.
I guess I'm still thinking about what Lisa was. And we're going to have more than one night, one time, one way of communicating with parents. Parents no longer are working just a 9 to 5 week right at work and have all evening to do things. Some are working afternoons, some are working midnight, some work weekends, some have split schedules, some have schedules I don't even want to agree with. We have to be able to at least attempt to fit their needs on afternoon, evening. I work midnights for 15 years. I could be here at 7 o'clock in the morning, 8 o'clock in the morning for a meeting. So somehow we gotta find out all the different times, dates, and hours to make sure that we're at least offering these times for our parents. You know, there's a lot of hybrid work schedules out there now. So we gotta make sure that we're up with them. So that we have that time for the parents.
I want to bring Doug Gray and Michelle Mueller into the conversation. You know, as communications professionals, we hear the feedback from the board. I'll have the communication plan tomorrow, but I hear the feedback around you pushing us to make sure that we're accommodating parents to the greatest extent possible. And, you know, Michael, Deneen, and Evelyn, they're not going to have the answers of how, you're likely not to have the answers of how we can better communicate. So, board members, I want to bring Doug and Michelle into the conversation, and we'll kick this feedback around. And we'll have the feedback from Friday report here within a week of how we're modifying the plan based on the feedback.
Okay.
I also think that, and I know not everybody is able to make it to conferences, but that is a great spot when parents come in to like pull it up on the computer with them, kind of walk them through what they're seeing and explain, this is how they're doing and this is how you can. And again, you know, it's just a piece of the puzzle because not everybody can make it to the conferences.
And some of our teachers have started that work last year too. So, some of the teachers that were using our discussing with parents. So
Hopefully the kids, some of our kids are ready to start leading those conferences around the scales of where they're at, and why they're there, and what they need to do to get the, you know, the next level. We've always done student-led conferences,
Yeah.
but I think now they'll go to the next level because of conferences.
Any other questions or comments? Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the CDL plan as presented to the Board of Education. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other questions or comments? If not, I'll vote. Dr. Bell?
Yes.
Mr. Gregg?
Yes.
Ms. Miller?
Yes.
Ms. Lovey Jones?
Yes.
I'll vote yes. Thank you all very much. Awesome. Next up is our policy update, BBFA, sir?
Thank you, Dr. Thomas. So, board members, the next item on the agenda is policy BBFA. It's the conflict of interest in financial disclosure. So, the practice, this needs to be approved and reapproved each year. We've done this in consent. Going back some years, we pulled this off consent, put it into the open meeting. And so I'm not going to read the entire policy, just going to call out some pieces, and we'd be looking for your reapproval with an affirmative vote. Policy BBFA, members of the Board of Education must comply with conflict of interest laws and avoid situations where their decisions or actions in their capacity as board members could conflict with the mission of the district. Business with which a board member is associated for the purposes of the policy. So board members, if you are a part owner or if you are associated within the fourth degree of consanguinity, which means blood or affinity. So that means parents, grandparents, great-grandparents, great-great-grandparents, spouse, children, siblings, grandchildren, and so on. Business dealings with a board member within the fourth degree of consanguinity could potentially lead to a conflict of interest. There's a substantial interest that exists when a board member or his or her spouse or dependent children in their custody, either singularly or collectively, directly or indirectly, own 10% or more of any business entity that has dealings with the district, own an interest having a value of $10,000 or more in any business entity, or receive a salary, gratuity, or the compensation or remuneration of $5,000 or more from any individual, partnership, organization, or association within the calendar year, that can be a conflict of interest. No elected or appointed official of the district is permitted to sell, rent, or lease any personal property to the district for consideration in excess of $500 value for a transaction or $5,000 value to him or her his or her spouse, dependent child, or to any business in which they are associated, unless the transaction is made pursuant to an award on a contract letter sale made after public notice and competitive bidding, provided that the bid or offer accepted is the lowest received. Around employment, the district will not employ members of the Ritenour board nor accept applications of employment from board members, consider board members for employment, or decide to employ board members while they remain on the board. Board members may provide services on a volunteer basis. Board members around self-dealing, board members may not act or refrain from acting by reason of any payment, offer to pay, promise to pay, or receipt of anything of actual pecuniary value, whether received or not, to themselves or any third person. Board members are not permitted to act favorably on any manner that is specifically designed to provide a special monetary benefit to them, their spouses, or dependent children in their custody. Board members, there are some other provisions around self-dealing called out in the policy. Board members shall not use or disclose confidential information obtained in the course of or by reason of their official capacities in any manner with intent to result in financial gain for themselves, spouses, dependent children in their custody. Board members around nepotism, in the event that an individual is recommended for employment or appointment and the individual is related within the fourth degree to a board member, the board member shall abstain from voting, and so on, and leave the room. Board members, we made an update to the policy and added additional components of this policy. In accordance with our hiring policy, no person will be newly employed or appointed to a position in the district if the person is related within the fourth degree by blood to a member of the Board of Education. However, if the person is already an employee of the district, he or she may be hired for extra duty positions or may be allowed to change positions in the district as long as the change is not considered to be a promotion. Board members, we also added provisions around prohibition of hiring relatives within the fourth degree for cabinet level administrators as well. Board members, if you have any other questions about BBFA, happy to have that conversation with you. Very wide-ranging policy, asking for your reapproval of BBFA.
Thoughts, questions, comments? Hearing none?
I'd like to make a motion to adopt policy BBFA, conflict of interest and financial disclosure as required.
Second?
Okay, are there any questions on the policy? We haven't changed anything, we're just reaffirming, right? Okay. Call vote. Ms. Dr. Jones?
Yes.
Ms. Lois?
Yes.
Dr. Alvin?
Yes.
Mr. Gardner?
Yes.
I'll vote yes.
Thank you.
We're back for another year. Moving on. I think we're at the personnel recommendation report. Dr. LaChance.
Sir. Evening, board members. Here to present items 1 through 63. I'm happy to answer any questions you have. Ultimately, I think we approve.
I just think you've done an outstanding job getting us ready for the school.
Thank you.
Thank you for that.
I will say it's a team effort. Even that last hire, we assisted with it, team members assisted with it. It's a team effort. So all
That's by the team, so.
This terminology is new to me, or I'm not following it properly. St. Louis teacher.
So, we came aboard with an agreement with the St. Louis Teacher Residency Program with partners with Washington University. It was in June. That program recruits individuals who are typically coming from another field of work and interested in becoming teachers, and they provide them with intensive trainings throughout the year. And we hire them as support staff members during that year. And they spend half their day with a mentor teacher teaching. The other half, they can work with small groups of students or sub in classrooms where there's a need. So you'll see 2 individuals on the report that we are recommending to the board. Those individuals are identified in the content area that we can reasonably predict that we have a vacancy each year. So we're trying to plan ahead to fill those essentially math vacancies that occur. That's what those individuals are.
Generally, they're career changers, correct?
Yeah, that's career change.
And there's also teacher mentors for those people who are with your staff also, correct?
Yeah, they're also on the report, later on in the report as mentors. They spend a week of training with their mentee already this summer. And they're gearing up, ideally with board approval, they're gearing up to join us next week when staff join us. And their system also provides for intensive planning, which they will align with our curriculum and the work that we're doing. And those individuals will spend some time actually practicing lesson plan delivery with direct feedback before they actually practice on students, before they're working with students. We have a pretty successful system.
Any other questions? Hearing none.
I'd like to make a motion to approve personnel recommendations 1 through 63 as presented.
Second.
Motion and a second. Are there any other questions, comments, or thoughts? Hearing none, call the vote. Dr. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Gardner?
Yes.
Ms. Moses?
Yes.
Mr. Dover Jones?
Yes.
I'm proud to say yes, sir.
Thank you. It's going to be a great school year.
Sir?
It's going to be a great school year.
The best yet. Thank you, sir. Moving on to 3.7, board member comments. Come on, you guys. Got something, I know.
Only comment I have is I put a booklet on in front of all the board members from the annual Missouri School Law Seminar that was hosted by Amy. So they just go over all the different laws that are directly impacting school districts for that year. There's some good key points in here, good highlights, should I say. One of the sections that I really appreciated was this breakdown of Senate Bill 727, understanding some of the long-term impact in there. So that's in here, as well as there's a section about cybersecurity and some of the things that districts should be mindful of, that particularly as a board member, I don't really necessarily pay attention to. But now it's like, oh, okay, this may potentially impact us. But it's informative. I appreciate it. And I also have this electronically too, so I'll send that electronic version to everybody.
I was just going to say, by any chance, is it a video or?
Video.
Okay. But you have the electronic. Yeah. Okay.
So it's a good read.
It is. It is.
Anybody else? As everybody knows, I'll say it again because I think it's important. We had 8 students graduate tonight. 8 students came up with grit, with purpose, and Dr. Green and his group here at the high school got across the finish line. I now am understanding more and more how CBL is going to do that for us and help us with that. These students stuck with it. They got here, and we were here tonight to help celebrate. Awesome. It was wonderful for these families. Got to talk to a lot of families as they walked out. They were all ecstatic. Proud of their students, like we should be proud of them as well. They're our family, they're our neighbors, they're the people that we support. And Dr. Green, thank you for you, your team, everyone that got them there. I know I'll forget everybody that should list, but we all know who they are. Thank you very much for these students. Thank you for helping us with that. One thing that wasn't mentioned that we wanted to mention.
That is correct. I neglected to do it. So during in the CBL presentation, we got confirmation today that our MSBA presentation on CBL is accepted. And so thanks to Dr. Stewart, Dr. Nobile, and Dr. Macco, they were the three people that created the presentation. So it'll be a concurrent session. Don't know if it's on Friday or Saturday yet, but excited to share with the state and the board members across the state the good work that's going on.
That's big. And thus, Dr. Stewart and her crew will be joining us in Kansas City for the weekend. And we'll plan on going out and having dinner with you all and enjoying your successes and talk about what we do next. So thank you very much for your award to go with us and do this. Board members, I would ask that you would consider, not only as we won't be there to support them, but at least two of us, if not three of us or so, join them in the planning, preparation, and delivery. We might just be the figurehead that says, here's Dr. Stewart, but we want to be part of that as well. So if there's someone that wants to dive into this with Dr. Stewart, take part of it, please say so, and we'll get you connected to her, and it'll be awesome. It really will be. I can go on and on, but I won't. So, thank you all for everything you've done. This is going to be the best year yet. I know that. We got everybody in the right place. We're moving on in the right direction. With that, then, we have our consent agenda items, which is 4.1 to 4.16.
Is it really agreeing on 4.15?
Oh, I'm sorry. You are correct. It goes to 4.15.
I'd like to make a motion that we accept consent agenda items 4.1 to 4.15. Second.
We have a motion, and we have a second. Let's vote. Ms. Lois,
Yes.
Ms. Jones,
Yes.
Dr. Alvin,
Yes.
Mr. Gardner.
Yes.
I will vote yes. Consent agenda items have been approved. Now, for 4.16.
I'd like to make a recommendation that we reconvene closed session for state statute 610-021 for discussion of real estate and personnel agenda items. Second.
Motion is second. Let's call the vote. Dr. Alvin.
Yes.
Mr. Gardner. Yes. Ms. Lois.
Yes.
Ms. Jones.
Yes.
I will vote yes. Everybody want to take a 5-minute break?
Yes.